Prova, 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 prova. Test. Test. Prova, prova.
Can you hear me? Beautiful technology.
1, 2, 3.
Exactly.
Can you just delete all the description, just everything? Because this is.
Well, we can also go completely live. I don't think it matters that much. It's not. Maybe it's not ideal, but no one cares anywhere. It's like back the scenes.
I'll go and check everything.
It's like when you buy a DVD.
Just for troubleshooting.
Mike, do you have audio or something? Test.
You just get it.
Yeah, we can leave it there for now.
No, just to avoid making a mess that we have two and we don't understand which which one is creating the if it's creating the issue, which one is creating the issue.
So everything works. Also audio.
It should work. Can someone check with the internet connection?
Audio check. Mic check. And audio video works.
Okay.
Really good.
Okay, so only thing I have to remember is to block the screensaver.
Io posso fare un terzo backup eventualmente.
No, adesso non.
Posso farmelo sulla mia piattaforma StreamYard, poi la passo che basta, da subito un bel file bello molto leggero.
No, ma stavamo facendo un errore noi prima, perché era in studio mode e quindi and power, just to avoid that it starts sleeping while we are.
You have the power settings in the screensaver, good point.
The screensaver is out. 1, 2. So the battery is fully.
But I don't know where it comes from. I was checking, but you can't turn off the microphone, so nothing we can do, I guess. It's not an issue. Just wanted to check if, like, we.
So, guys, the shy ones behind, otherwise, I mean, the room is for 400 people. We are 100. So, if you are there, you don't get lunch. And just be prepared to go to the hospital in the afternoon. In Milan there is plenty of hospitals, so I will make sure that you get a bed in one of them. That's event democracy. Otherwise you never get to the point. It should be the same as yesterday. If sono solo arrivato con il mio PC. We can, Mike, can you call the guy there? So it's my PC, but the problem is that all presentations are on my PC, so we have to solve it. serve soltanto che lui sia attivo perché così me lo sente quando parte. Preso i cavi. Okay. So we are supposed to start at 10, but it's a few minutes before. Don't be shy. There is space in the front. People that are sitting in the back, and there are 3 at the moment, 4 at the moment, don't get lunch. 6 at the moment. This is back. This behind the camera means back. In front of the camera means that you will get lunch. If you are behind the camera, you don't get lunch, okay? You know, we had the elections in Italy, and the extreme right wing won the election, so we have to be prepared, and I have to start behaving like a dictator, because in a few months in Italy it will be like this. So we just for everyone to be prepared. There's no discussion when I'm speaking. Afterwards, okay, you are allowed, because I'm a nice person, but now not. You don't get lunch. And I know where you live, by the way. Really know where you live. Okay, just a few words to start. For those here, thank you for coming. Of course, the time are not ideal for traveling. For many people that wanted to be here, or several people that wanted to be here, have not been able to, because of in some cases because of restrictions, in other cases because of visa issues, and of course the geopolitical situation at the moment doesn't help at all in having good relationship between countries. We have good relationship between people, but unfortunately we not always have good relationship within countries. In some cases, and I apologize for, as being Italian, I know that there have been people that have not got the visa because the embassy told them we don't have time for appointments for meetings for the visa until December, which is completely bullshit, sorry. It's better to say until December we are not giving visa to people from this country because of political situation. At least it's transparent and it's the reality. Just hiding behind we don't have time until December is, I think it's even worse, because people do not get, they understand the situation, so they would understand, maybe, even if they don't like the decision, the political decision, but in that other way, it's really, it's like a joke. And so I apologize for the people that cannot be here, and because of these silly situations. I would like to have everyone here because the Italians are a welcoming people in general, and therefore it would have been nice to have everyone in this room, or at least everyone that wanted to be in this room, to be here today. And for those that are here, thank you. For the people that are seeing us streaming, welcome to the conference as well. I hope you can enjoy the conference. We will try to make it as easy as possible for you to interact with us, but we have the Telegram channels. You know that you know our emails, you know the emails of the people that are here. If you have any issue, write to any one of us. We will try to to solve the problem if there is a problem in interacting with us, in seeing the streaming, in technology or something like that. If you have a question, send a question, not to me because I'm speaking, not because I don't want to see the questions, but for the other people that are here and you know many of them, send your questions if you have them. We will be happy to answer them in the best possible way. Of course, thank you for the sponsors. So the two main sponsors are Allotropia and Collabora, but we have two other companies, Passbolt and Net Service. Their logos is smaller because their contribution is a little bit smaller, but of course is important as well. And of course, the Document Foundation is in fact the main sponsor of the conference. And for the first time, this will be the LibreOffice Technology Conference, because we announced the concept of the LibreOffice technology last year, and this is the first conference where I hope people will show their advance that contribute to the LibreOffice technology. The concept is rather easy. LibreOffice was born as a desktop application. Today, just a desktop application it makes sense, but just alone it doesn't make sense anymore. So LibreOffice, luckily, is a platform on top of which you can develop different applications for different operating systems for different platforms. So the reality is that we have LibreOffice from different sources for Android, for iOS, for online. Of course, there is always space for improvement and have them on even more platform operating systems. But I think we are in the right, if we work together, we are in the right direction to achieve the objective, which is to provide the best open source platform for personal productivity. So not just a software, but a platform that is the technology or the engine for the different software that run on the different platforms. So this is about LibreOffice technology. Of course, welcome to Milano, or Milan if you prefer. As I said yesterday, although I'm the one that lives in the city or close to the city, I'm not from Milano. I've been living here for 54 years, which is quite a few weeks. But there is one person that was born in Milano. I don't see Paolo, but Paolo Pelloni. So if you have to complain about Milano, complain with Paolo and not with me. Okay, a few logistic information. The conference agenda and the venue map are on the conference website. If you are here, so you've already reached the conference, but for the people that will be here tomorrow and on Saturday. During the conference, there will be people taking pictures of participants. We will use them on TDF property. No Instagram, no Facebook, no fancy social media, maybe Twitter and LinkedIn, and on the annual report. So if you have issues in being in a picture that will almost never be only of you, but of the group, please tell us. We will try to take care of not using that picture for these publications. Every day at 1 p.m., people that were here yesterday already know that, we will have lunch boxes coming in. Food is vegan, so there's no real issues for anyone. Once you have finished, and today we will have the lunch boxes in the foyer, which is just, you get out from those two doors on the left and the right, not from the door upstairs. The foyer is there, and we will have the lunchbox in the foyer and on Saturday as well. Once you finish your lunchbox, everything is recyclable, so you have to separate paper and plastic. The boxes are all paper, even if you see transparent, is not plastic, that is paper. And then you have plastic, which are the cutlery, a bottle of water, and the glass. So we should separate them. It's not a huge problem if you mix them up, but if we do the good citizen, is even better. Friday, before lunchtime, we will take a picture of all participants. So we will, I think the best place to do that is in Piazza San Fedele, in front of the church, or in front of Palazzo Marino, which is on the other side of on the opposite side of the square. Then we will decide, but we will tell you tomorrow if we get it before the lunch boxes or after, but it's a matter of minutes. We go there, we take a picture, and then we eat. And every speaker should remember to send either Sophie or me the slide for publication, because we will not get all the slides for publication here, and we need them to populate the website. Tonight, community dinner. So you finish here at 6 or 6:30. You can take it easy because we will start at 7. So to get there from Duomo, you have to go to Metro Duomo, so Piazza del Duomo. It's easy if you don't know where it is, but not seeing the Duomo in Milano, it's really a difficult task. So in front of the Duomo, you have the metro. You go to the yellow line. It's Metro 3 yellow line. If you remember yellow, that's easy. You take it in direction San Donato and get out at Lodi Tib. It's a stop. Tib is Tecnomasio Italiano Brown Boveri. It's a very old industry making turbines. Of course, it's not anymore in the city today, but it's called Lodi Tib historically. So from Lodi Tib, you will see on one side a kind of bridge. It's a bridge over the rails. You go in the direction of the bridge, and the bridge is basically what you see, the first line. Then you get Via Brembo and Via Benaco, and you get to that point. There will be outside a LibreOffice roll-up, so you won't be missing it. On metro and on foot is half an hour, so take it easy. When you get there, there will be something to eat, not the pasta, because we will start cooking pasta when everyone is there. But you will have something to snack. Everything, because you are in Italy, of course, everything is Italian. So no McDonald's, no Burger King, no Kentucky Fried Chicken. If you are really eager to get one of these, you should source them while walking, and we will accept you with your McDonald's bag for dinner if you really want to be intoxicated. If you want to eat decent food, it's probably better to get pasta. And someone knows the recipes, please do not tell. Some Italians know the recipes, please don't tell the recipes to the other people, they should be a surprise. In any case, there will be 3 vegan pastas, 1 vegetarian, and 2 with meat. So there should be enough for everyone. The amount of pasta per person that we have is 300 grams, which is, I would say, quite enough. And then we have 5 kilos of taralli and scaldatelli to start, and beer. Beer will be from a microbrewery in Milano, and the brewmaster will serve the beer. So if you want to, it's actually he speaks fluent Spanish, not a lot of English. So you can ask the Spanish people can ask him about how he brews the beers. We will have a lager and a Belgian-style beer. He calls it, if I tell you the names are fancy names invented by him, so there's nothing, I'm not telling you anything that you know. So, some sightseeing suggestions. Milano, that is, of course, if you have some time to spend around the city, I would suggest to visit. These are probably the most interesting things to see. Duomo is very close, and Galleria Vittorio Emanuele are extremely close to our location. They're just behind. Teatro La Scala is on the square behind the Palazzo Marino, which is the palace that you have while getting out of Piazza San Fedele on your right. Then you have 2 museums. Pinacoteca means Museum of Paintings. It's an old word. There are also libraries, so these are 16th century libraries which you can visit. The castle is nice outside, and inside there are several museums. If you go there, my suggestion is to see Michelangelo's Pietà Rondanini. Is the last masterpiece of Michelangelo. He was he died a few weeks after, it's unfinished. He died while he was finishing the statue. Then you have Sant'Ambrogio and Sant'Eustorgio. They are the 2 brothers. Sant'Ambrogio is the protector of Milano, and Sant'Eustorgio was his brother. There are 2 beautiful churches, and San Lorenzo Maggiore was the Roman church of the imperial palace. Milano was the capital of one part of the Roman Empire. And San Satiro, which is very close to Piazza del Duomo, is an architectural masterpiece of Bramante. There is a lot more. If you are curious about Milano, you can ask me. Half of my studies were on history of art, so I know rather well the city and what you can see. On Saturday afternoon, we can organize some walking tour. We already did it for the previous Milan conference, so we can do something different. We can do the same, I don't know. One of the ideas was to go to the 2 other people that will not get lunch, because they are shy and they are behind the camera. So people in front of the camera will get lunch, people behind the camera will not get lunch. So Lothar is on a diet, and therefore he is okay. On Saturday afternoon, we can discuss and organize a walking tour. One of the ideas was to go to the new part of Milano, so the new architecture. Also because there is a supermarket where it's a high-level supermarket where if you want to get back some food from Italy, I've heard people want to bring back Parmesan cheese. That is a place where you can get, you have different choices. You can get not only food, salami, you can get whatever. It's called Italy. It's the largest Italy in the world here in Milano. You can find them in other places. There is an Italy in Paris, an Italy in Berlin, but the one in Milano, of course, has more choice. And I think this is all for the welcome and introduction. Again, welcome to everybody. If you have questions now, I think we have some time before we start at 10:30 or even before the opening session. No questions?
Can I just add that Sant'Ambrogio, who is the patron of Milan, was actually from Germany.
Yeah, from Trier. He was, so Lothar is happy because he's from close to Trier, yeah.
In the spirit of what you were saying in the beginning, opening to everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
You were running it. Thank you. I'd like to add a thank you to you, Italo, for organizing all this. You were doing this less or more alone, on site, and with, as we know, quite challenging circumstances. So thank you very much for making it possible to have the first in-person conference after 2 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you, but it was a pleasure, and unfortunately, we have some limitations. People asked, for instance, why we have not organized a hack night. It's really difficult, because if you have food, people will accept that you meet in a number of people. If you don't have food and you say, we are hacking software, and they look at you and say, what you're doing? So hacking software is not a human activity, which is partially true. But, okay, so next year probably, hopefully, the pandemic will be even more under control. We will have again a hack night. This year was really impossible. I've tried to find places, but everyone has told me it's not the way to organize it. And for the dinner, luckily, you will see the location tonight, is actually, being Italian, of course, I'm flexible, let's say. So tonight, you are all learning how to cook pasta, because that was the trick. So it's not that I'm cooking and you're eating, but it's that we are showing you how to cook pasta, and therefore it's a training, and we can have a training. Otherwise, no way. It's not a restaurant, and no way you can get pasta there. But because it's a kitchen school, then you can organize a kitchen training, a food training for people, and this is so if no one will come and check. But if someone checks and say, no, I'm learning how to cook pasta, it's interesting. I can print it, no problem. It's no value at all.
If you can please just remind at what time we should be there?
7:30. But be relaxed. The only thing at 11:30, not because I want you to get away, but because of the metro, it's better that at 11:30 you leave, because metro ends up, the last metro starts just before 1 a.m. So to be sure that you get to your places without risks, it's better that you leave that at 11:30, so you have at least 1 hour in front of you for getting back to the hotel. Shouldn't be a problem. Metro at night is not as frequent as during the day, but there are quite many. So that is last. But anyway, tonight we will have time to discuss. To change the schedule?
No, to just make sure that our laptops connect and that the cables are right and that the presentation shows up like it should be, but before the actual slot.
This is, we can check in the other room, because all the settings are the same we have only, in this room, we have only the opening and closing sessions. So basically, apart from a couple of people, Ilmari, and I don't remember who is presenting on Saturday, but the majority of presentations are happening in the other room. So the setting in the other 3 rooms are exactly the same. One room is not used, so we can use that room where there is an HDMI cable to check if the projector is compatible, and then you have to move to the other room for the presentation. That is possible, yes. It's not ideal, but let's say it's the closest to what we can do. Other questions? No other questions. Everyone is shy. Okay. We should lose 12 minutes, but you usually are always running after the schedule, and we are a lot ahead of schedule. Okay, sure, I forgot, you see. People that has not got the conference bag with a t-shirt, if you didn't get probably you already got the badge, Sophia's the badge here in front, for people that are missing their badge. When we are in the other, at the end of the session here, you will have to get out of the auditorium. You just turn right, 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 and so 3 times right, and you get to Piazza San Fedele, where there is the entrance of the other rooms for the afternoon and for tomorrow. So when you are there, if you ask one of us, Sophie, me, or we have conference bags with t-shirts, so you can get your conference bag with a t-shirt if you didn't get it already. And we didn't bring it here just because we should bring them back almost immediately. So that's for the people that doesn't know him. This is Armin. Yeah, exactly. No, because Paolo wanted to kill you, I think, because of Impress, and therefore. Okay. So I don't know. I mean, I can tell you stories, but. No, okay. No, just a little bit about. If you are interested about the history of this area, you see several palaces, several. So we are right in the center of Milan. You see there is a mixture of new buildings and old buildings. The problem is that Milan was heavily bombarded during the Second World War. Luckily, Duomo was damaged, but not too much. Galleria was damaged, not the buildings, but of course all the glasses were broken. La Scala, that you can see in Piazza della Scala, was almost completely destroyed. And many of the palaces around, including where we are today, were destroyed by bombs. So they have been rebuilt in the 40s, 50s, 60s. And this is the reason why you see in the center a mix of old, very old in some cases, and very new buildings. Piazza San Fedele, which is the place where there is the back entrance of the conference center. There is a church. That was the church of the Milan's nobles' families, because Duomo was the popular church, was for everyone. And actually, you see the Duomo that you see today was built from the 13th to the 18th century. So 13th is the apse, and the 18th century is the facade that was finished in 1860. So it's really a fake Gothic facade. It was made during the Romantic period. San Fedele is the church where the really noble family were meeting, and is the church that is just side of the meeting center. The palace that you will see on the other side of the square was the house of a single family. Actually was the house of a single person that was a banker. It's called Palazzo Marino because the family was the Marinos family, and it was a banker. So today is the seat of Milan mayor. But if you look at the palace and you see how big it is, you can realize how rich Milan was in the 15th, 16th century. Actually, the Marino family was one of the first large bankers. So they had subsidiaries in London, Paris, and in other cities. So it was a family, but it was lending money basically to all the big countries in Europe. Behind Palazzo Marino, you have La Scala, and you will see that La Scala, the front is still the original one, neoclassic, but everything behind has been rebuilt and has been rebuilt several times, because the first rebuilt after the war was exactly as before. So everything was wooden, and the risk of fire was big, and in fact there was a fire. So now only the internal room is with wood and is all treated to be anti-fire. Actually, if you are interested in seeing the internal, you can visit the Museo alla Scala, and as a part of the museum, you can get into the Scala Theater. You will see it from the main, from what is the royal place in the center in the back. And today, everything you will see behind there is a big white cube. Inside that, everything is completely automatic now. So basically, yes, this is where they had all the machines before that were moved by people. Now everything is automatic, everything is moved with a computer to avoid the risk, because it's very high, so there were people falling from 30 meters when they were doing it manually. And just to finish, if you get out of Piazza San Fedele on the right of the church, so you just when you are you have the church in front of you, you exit to the left, and then you cross the road, and after a few 100 meters on the left, there is an arch that goes into a square, that is Piazza Belgioioso, and the Belgioioso family was another very rich family in Milano, and that place is completely untouched since the 16th century. Just by chance was not hit by any bomb, so you still find the Palazzo Belgioioso and the house of Alessandro Manzoni. Alessandro Manzoni is a very famous writer in Italy, was the author of Promessi Sposi, that is a big classic. So that is, and that is an hidden treasure because no one knows it. It's rather really hidden. You cannot get there by car unless you live in Piazza Belgioioso, which means that you are extremely rich. And more or less. Belgioioso cheese. Quello lo fanno a Terni. Belgioioso cheese. È bel paese. Sì, ma bel paese. Cheese is toxic, please. So don't never listen to Gabriele when he gives you suggestions about food, because he already mixes up the names of the cheeses.
Italo, have you mentioned that we have a monument to proprietary software in front of the stock exchange?
Ah, yes. In front of the stock exchange, there is a monument that is a little bit, let's say, has raised a little bit of concern when it was, because it's a hand with a finger. It's a finger to the stock exchange. If you're really curious, you can go there, but I wouldn't suggest it to lose your time to get there.
When I was walking around the other day, I noticed that there are some military APCs or jeeps that are stationed unescorted off some places of the surrounding streets. So what's that about?
It's just for security. They're just supposed for, it's, you know, Piazza del Duomo is considered a strategic objective for someone that wants to make an attempt to people, because there is always many people. So it's one of the areas where we, as part of NATO's agreements, we have to keep military presidium to avoid this kind of stuff. I'm not sure that this avoids, but you know, these are the rules. And
Yesterday evening there was a kind of demonstration called strike, I don't know, between here and the main station. So there were lots of cops and there were also, you know, fences. Wasn't easy to reach the main station by feet because there were so many cops and we had to divert just because there were this demonstration and there was female something like and that's it. So maybe you may have seen part of it. I don't know.
No, I saw the military.
Part of that. I don't know.
yeah, it's just, let's say, for security, although I don't know if it means really security, but that is the, you will find the same for instance, in Piazza San Pietro in Rome, and in other places which are considered to be potential areas of attack. Piazza del Duomo, of course, if you see it during a normal day, is not really crowded. Now it's end of September, but you can believe me, in August it was in some cases difficult to walk in Piazza del Duomo and in the gallery. And also the gallery is considered a potential because it's closed. Therefore, we will always say, but we have them for years. We don't even notice them anymore because they're part of, you know, they're part of this scenario. Unfortunately, the geopolitical situation affects everyone. So we cannot, in Italy, at the moment we are lucky we didn't have any major strike, but you never know.
We also have to find something to do for those people.
Yeah, also, but okay. So let's start with the opening session. This is again a welcome for everyone. And again, thanks to the conference sponsor, and I think this is really, and I invite here Torsten and Florian, I don't know if they have anything to say, but I have to invite them here, so.
Hey everyone, does it even work?
Is it working? Okay, yes.
Just a bit closer, I think.
I mean, if you want, I can dance, but
Yes, please.
it's not the best showing that you will see.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything prepared, so let me just join Italo in welcoming you all. It's so great to see so many of you in person again after those dreadful 2 years. Yeah, it's brilliant and it's a relief, and it makes me feel very, very positive. And we had so many great talks already in the past 3 days, and I look forward to many more until Sunday when I will be leaving. Yeah, nothing much else to say from my side except big thank you, and also a very, very large thank you indeed to the local organizers, to Italo, and the team from the foundation, from TDF, for setting this up under very, very, very difficult circumstances, with a very last-minute change in venue, which I think Italo mostly pulled off single-handedly. Maybe you used both hands, I'm not sure about it, but it looked very single-handedly. So yeah, just maybe another round of applause for that. It's greatly appreciated.
But this time, for real, is the last one, because I said already that in Rome, but then because of the pandemics, I said I have to make up my mind. But this is for real, the last one. I will be 70 in 2 years.
For this year, the last one.
Forget. I can help others, but
it's a good way to lure you in. No, same from my side. I'm glad to see all of you. Thanks especially to those who had a very long trip here. I know for us it's still rather convenient. It's still Europe, which is a topic we want to address anyway, but it's still Europe, it's rather convenient, and for some of you it was a really long trip, and it's a completely different continent, and especially to those of you, especially in these times that are still challenging, my extended thanks that you took the way here to Milan. I've seen many people from far away. It's good to see you after that long time again. Very, very happy that you took that burden. I know many of you took their vacations to come here. That is quite an ask, so thanks a lot for that. And of course, again, thanks to Italo for organizing that, for running all that. That was really rather hands-free. I mean, you were doing everything locally with challenging conditions and that last-minute change of location. So thanks a lot for that. And you definitely earned your merits in organizing conferences. That's for sure. So glad to see all of you. Welcome, and have a safe and good week.
Yeah, maybe to add to that, I've been talking to some of you, and I just learned that some people here traveled for 2 days, just to echo Florian.
There is a complaint that your microphone is not turned on.
It is on.
It is. Maybe you need to come closer.
you have to come closer.
It's very sensitive, I think.
Hello.
So
hello, Mike.
If I talk from the side. Yeah, just to echo what Florian said, and I was talking to a few of you and learned that some of you actually traveled for 2 days to come here, and then it's another 2 days to come back, and yeah, it's just I'm very grateful that and it's an honor that you put that in for the project and for the conference. The other thing that came to my mind while we're talking about conferences and travel and all of that was this wonderful Latin America conference that took place in August, I believe, and organized by by Olivier and the Brazilian community, if I'm not wrong, and was hugely successful. Like, how many participants? 300 something. And I think, given the fact that we're a global community and that, I mean, possibly having a LibreOffice conference on another continent, but if we don't do that, then at least continue to have local conferences. We also had in the past, like Asia conference, or in Japan, local events, and I think that's a model to continue in the face of perhaps continued challenges in traveling globally, while at the same time, as I said, super happy and honored that people take it upon themselves to travel for such a long time. And yeah, maybe next time for Latin America or Asia, I can pull it off. It was a bit of a challenge for me this year. I really wanted to go to Brazil, but then I was very grateful that Lotta was jumping in and represented let's say, the European part of the project. What else there is to say?
I mean, there's always a lot of people working in the background. I'm sure we'll forget many of them. But also thanks to them, just this morning we had Guillem around and Mike to make the video streaming possible. Mike is sitting over here handling all the social media, I think. Perfect. Perfect. Then nothing to add.
So, the people, I'll call the people in the different bodies, so stand up so that people can see you. I don't see Emiliano.
He's belated, he was in a traffic jam.
Okay, so Emiliano will be coming. Paolo Vecchi, Board of Directors. Candy, you can say the rest of your name because it's... Core. Laszlo and Gabor. These are the directors. And then we have Gabriel here. And Ayhan, who I don't know if he's on streaming, but is in Turkey. He's not able to attend. Then we have the membership committee. This is the newly elected membership committee. So we have Miklos, Marina, who is in Germany, Gustavo. I don't see Gustavo, not yet here, okay. Yesterday he had a bad night because of jet lag, so maybe he's still sleeping a little bit. Gabriele. And Uwe, I don't see Uwe as well. Then we have two deputies. Shinji, not here. And Balash. Okay. And then we have Ahmad in Indonesia. And then the team, Florian, Sophie, everyone knows Sophie, so. Then we have Clough in the aquarium there. Then we have Cisco, somewhere. Ilmari. Hossein, who is not here, is the developer community. He's on the stream. Is here on the stream? Yeah, okay. Then again in the aquarium we have Guillaume, Olivier, Heiko, Mike, and me. Okay, that's the people in, let's say, the core team of TDF, although I think that everyone is a core team member. I forgot Stefan. Sorry. Stefan, apologies. I need you. I owe you a coffee, at least. Sorry. And I think everyone is really a member of our big and large team. And we actually should learn to be more a global team than we are. It's a challenge, because it's a challenge. We have the language is a challenge. Our different cultures are a challenge. I think that since I've been in this project, and sorry for speaking too much, but I wanted to express some of my feelings about it. Since we started this project, I've learned an incredible amount of things about being in a global team and having respect for other cultures. I frankly admit that my respect of several other cultures was not the same in 2010, and that was my fault. It was not the fault of the other culture. It was just my fault because I was very superficial in looking at the others. And I think that the opportunity that we have with TDF of meeting people, and in some cases of visiting other people, countries for conferences, is an incredible learning experience. And in this, I try to remember you that we have a marketing budget, we have the possibility of having grants for projects, and therefore, if you want to organize a local conference, if you want to organize an event in your country, don't be shy, ask us. Even if you have just a basic idea, we can work with you to improve the idea and make it a reality. If you have something interesting to tell others in other countries, I think talk to our members in the other countries. They will be happy to make it possible for you to visit and talk at others' event. For instance, with Franklin in Taiwan, I was able to have a talk at COSCAP in Taiwan. Is the local free software event, but it was important to be there because you learn a lot about their culture and their reality. So this is an incentive for every one of you. Of course, we all have a family, a job, and we have to mix our different duties. But believe me, it's a very important experience to be and visit other countries, be with other people, mix with other people at events, because you learn, you not only give, but you take a lot in terms of culture and personal growth. And it's the oldest person in this room to tell you. So if that is true for someone that has almost 70 years, I think it's true for everyone else, because you can really learn a lot. So last couple of things. We have the conference schedule is online. Check it regularly, because we may I hope not, but we may have last-minute changes. It is reflected immediately. If the page, refresh the page, because maybe you have the old version cached, but you will always see the last version. We also have the streaming, and for the streaming, so Emiliano, the red one, and Uwe is the white one. The red T-shirt, white hairs, on because we showed everyone in the bodies. And yesterday, Mike published on the blog the links for the streaming. So one of the links, which is the link for this room, will be the same for the main room in the afternoon. We will move for the people that is looking at the streaming, we will move just behind this room in other smaller rooms. The second one is another room. We will have to set up the streaming, so maybe in the afternoon we will start a few minutes after 2 p.m., but we have already checked everything this morning, so it should work without big issues in the afternoon, because the settings are the same.
Maybe just one additional thing. So if you don't have wireless access yet, then poke one of the people who seem to have. There's a code here, there's a captive portal and the code, and so can't obviously put this on the slide, but and Italo is the master of the if there's not enough code or not enough bandwidth.
Yeah, we can ask for another code. Then we have a conference application, is available on Google Play and F-Droid. If you had it installed from last year, it has updated automatically, because the link to the application is the same. And you can use the application to make your own agenda to follow the different talks. No, the Stream Jitsi is not working. Sorry, this is last year link. I forgot to delete it. YouTube links, we provide them at the last minute, not because we are bad people, but because of technical needs. We have to open the stream, and it gives us the link once the stream is opened. So we cannot have it before, so it will be always some minutes before the session, or the morning of the afternoon session starts. The same, please check the YouTube links on a regular basis, because they may change. If we have a problem, we have to create another link, and therefore that can change. Communication channels, we have 2 Telegram groups. One is LibreOffice Conference main chat, and the other is LibreOffice Conference announcements. And then we have the mailing list, which is conference@globalLibreoffice.org. I think is everything. Oh no, last thing is the lightning talk session. It's scheduled for tonight at 5:30, can go up to 6:30. We have three talks scheduled already. So there is still quite a lot of room for other talks. People interested in presenting should talk with Torsten.
That's me.
And let's say 1 hour before it starts, so by 3:30 p.m. maximum. And also, if you have a lightning talk after the conference, please remember to send your slides to us. And Shinji is arriving. Shinji is from the membership committee. And I think now, again, time for questions. And then we have the 2 keynotes from Allotropia and Collabora. And if we want to have a 5 minutes break, I don't know what time is it. We have 10 minutes, so maybe we can have a short break. Unfortunately, no coffee inside, but just to make some gym for your legs, and then Thorsten will start. Do you connect your laptop? Yes, probably better. There is HDMI. Yeah, yeah.
Good. Thanks, Italo.
That was easy. Yeah, they have some limitation, as you saw in the, because that is, let's say, supposed to be, originally was supposed to be only for the for-profit activities of the Archbishop. So the limitations are related to that because, of course, they, as we are a not-for-profit, so the fact that you cannot add signage is that just because they say you never know which kind of signage you put.
Of course.
So, and if it's for profit, just imagine that someone that sells, I don't know, cannabis for normal, therapeutic, comes here and put it.
Yeah, I guess that should work out, given that there are so many people not having lunch. Alrighty, so it's me again. Hey everyone. Yeah, I bought me the spot here on the stage this time with a bit of sponsoring. So if you would indulge me for some few minutes while I say a few things about my company, which is Allotropia, and our team. Many of them are actually here today. So first of all, who are we? Company is based in Hamburg, which is actually the birthplace, more or less, of not of Star Office, but of Open Office. Yeah, I was working pretty much with the previous team. Many of the people that are now with Allotropia, I was working for another company, and I've also been keynoting for them, so you might remember CIB. And we spun out Allotropia with the open source team, like everyone, almost everyone from that existing team came with me in the new company at the beginning last year. So I still have from CIB, Uli Brandner is a shareholder of the new company, and we continue to serve existing customers. So it was kind of a spin out, like doing exactly the same like you did before, just with a separate company. And that turned out to be very nice and a good idea, and we had quite a successful first year, the last year. Yeah, the focus is pure play open source. So we are a consultancy business, a bit of product offerings, but it's all purely open source. So there's nothing that we're doing that is not either an open source product or services or consultancies around software that is not open source. Yeah, and we have a number of customers. We're very grateful for that. Quite diverse, wide spectrum from public sector to private sector, large and small, which is nice, and I'm quite happy and quite proud about it. So focus really on a conference should be on people. So my focus for the first part of this keynote is about people, which is our team at Allotropia, of which I'm really extremely proud. And what we're doing, I mean, you can read that from the slides. I'm not going to do that. I'm just kind of talking over the idea behind that. So for something like LibreOffice, or something as complex as LibreOffice and other related technology, you need a number of people. It's just not possible to do that all with 1 or 2 or 3 persons. It's just too much, too large. And if you want to do something with good quality and good results in reasonable time, you need experts. And I'm quite honored to be in a position to have quite a few of them working for Allotropia, and so that we're able to cover the entire code base. And as such, we are a company where you can come and say, I want a bug fixed or a feature implemented, and we can do that. It's not like, oh, we can only kind of do, I don't know, Impress bug fixes. Impress is in need of some bug fixes, but so do come to us if you want an Impress bug fix, but you can also come to us if you want something else fixed in LibreOffice or in related software. Yeah, and with all those things that we're doing, we're also very, very happy and very proud that we managed to be the leading company behind the WebAssembly port. And there will be a talk about that, some updates, some new things happening there. And that's also, I think, a really wonderful match with that, what Italo just said in the opening session, with that LibreOffice technology moniker on this conference, because it's never been intended to do that, like running in a browser or running on some WASM runtime on a server, or being ported to so many different devices, operating systems, platforms as it is today. I mean, that thing started in the 90s. There was just no iOS and no Android and also no OS X, and there was barely some Linux back in the day. So I really like that idea, this technology thing, and that's this company logo that is kind of the stylish buckyball that was on the first slide. It's a bit like this kind of, this technology, this kind of gem that is the scope base. You can morph that really quite massively, and you won't recognize it when it's like running at some PDF conversion on some back end, or if it's running on your mobile device. It really doesn't look like desktop LibreOffice, but it's still the same code base. Yeah, and as I say, kind of super glad, super happy to be in a position to work on that, to innovate, to be part of that LibreOffice technology movement. Yeah, beyond that, we're also kind of doing some stuff like standardization and a bit of OSB Alliance, which is kind of open source lobbying for Germany. And of course, we're active in the Document Foundation in very many ways, in the bodies of the foundation, but also, and that's actually most of the time, most of the work actually developing for LibreOffice. So that's mark shots of the team, and yeah, what you see here is something like 80-ish years of sum total of 80-ish years of experience in that LibreOffice technology. And yeah, some of them are here, and let's quickly go through that. So first one today is Gabor with State of Interoperability, the good, the bad, and maybe also the ugly. I haven't seen the talk yet, but I'm sure that Gabor will deliver, especially on the on the gory details of what's not really quite working yet. And so the idea behind that is like get some honest assessment on where we are with a view on like outlook, like what do we need to do, like where's the best bang for the buck if we fix it here, what's gonna kind of get unlocked. So yeah, you might not want to miss that today at 15:30 in Loyola. Then there is a colleague from City of Munich, Björn Ranft, and yours truly at 4 in the other room. That's essentially talking about Volmux, which is some quite massive Java extension that is used for not only mail merge, but it's also like template organization. It's essentially, it's a bit like PHP. It's like you can write code how your templates should behave and what they can do, and it's really quite powerful. So that's like lessons learned and what's the plan and what are we going to do there and why is it relevant, or why do we think it is so relevant for the project. Then after that, back to back, some updates on this. I started talking about that at FOSDEM. That is a prototype fund project. So like for LibreOffice, probably most interesting, like just getting someone to do a bit of experimenting and a bit of work on the CI. There was always been people like trying a bit with coverage, and it never really fit into the Jenkins thing. And yeah, there are some updates on that, and some plans, and some progress report, and also quite some room, I guess, for discussions and feedback. Then half an hour later, Samuel, that is a lightning talk that's remote, so Samuel couldn't make it to Milano, but he will be available for questions on metrics, and it's a recorded talk, but he's going to be there. Yeah, and Vasily also couldn't make it. Italo mentioned it, there's quite some challenge sometimes with visa and stuff. So it's also remote, and it's about, and it's tomorrow, 10:30, in this Ritchie room. I think it's right after Miklos' talk, so that's might be, if you're interested in that area, that's kind of the newer word, form control, form control engine. So, and there was some very interesting, very nice to see, like some virtuous circle of Vasily started, and Miklos took it quite a bit further, and then Vasily was kind of adding a bit to that. So maybe you guys should have had a joint talk, but it's going to almost be like that. So it's going to be back to back, so people can just stay in the room, and yeah, could be interesting. After that, Balázs, he's going to be here, and he's going to talk about calc improvements. Also, don't miss that. And before lunch, just half an hour before lunch, some updates from Balázs and me on the WASM project. Balázs had pulled quite some nice tricks off there, and we're going to talk about that, and also what's the plans there. And then the second last is Armin at 3 on Friday. Graphic subsystems, like the history, the details, what's the plan, the vision there, the architecture. So that's going to be, if you're interested in this graphics area, go there and get some update and ask questions. Yeah, and then Michael is going to give some update on the state of ODF and what's happening there, standardization, and also on the implementation front. Good. So that was that. I think I got few minutes left. So some time for personal statements. Community. So as I said, this is all about people. And we are a community. And what is a community? Obviously, it's a body of persons with common interests. And that's good to know, because we all share quite a lot of common interests. And sometimes when we disagree, I think it's good to disagree. It's important to disagree. It's not that we almost must agree on everything. But if the disagreement is getting too much, or it's at least that's for me, when it's getting on me, it's good to step back for a moment and then reflect on the fact that the shared common interest is this project and the software and this foundation. And we're all here because of that, because we love free software, and we love LibreOffice, and we love TDF, and we built it, like many in this room, like helped building it. So we share, the amount of shared interest is massive. And when the going gets tough, that at least helps me then to say, okay, maybe let's talk about what we agree on and what we share, and the common vision and the common mission, rather than whether this tiny detail here should be green or blue or black. Yeah, on the question of mission, that is just, again, a personal statement. What is my mission statement? That's pretty simple. I want to make LibreOffice rock and have a lot of fun in the process. So And I think that is very likely true for at least all the volunteers that are contributing to LibreOffice. The reason why we're doing this is because it's great, it's fun, we love it, we like it. It gives us, it's rewarding, and that's why we're doing it. Otherwise, why would we spend the weekends and the nights and our vacation and travel 48 hours to come to some remote place and meet people? Because we like it. It's fun, it's great, it's rewarding. And then, of course, the mission statement, that is not the mission statement of the Document Foundation or the LibreOffice project. And the mission statement that we have is maybe a little bit dated. And we have been talking about perhaps updating that for like a year or two already. And perhaps it's time to do that. And why not start discussing that while we're here in person over beer or a pizza or a tea. And on the vision thing, so that's the mission, like what the doing bit. So I want to make it rock, and I enjoy doing that. And the vision bit, yeah. So I broadly, I don't think that really needs an update. I mean, it's this from this Next Decade manifesto. It's like bridge the digital divide. Provide everyone with office productivity that is open source, so the people are empowered, so they can improve it, they can work with it, they can innovate on top of that, like us doing that here with this LibreOffice technology stuff. I think the vision, maybe it needs a bit of brushing up, but I don't think it really needs, at least from my perspective, an update. My message then for the project, now that I have the stage, is just, let's just continue having fun. And let's continue to be enthusiastic about what we're doing. And it's easier. If you're having fun, then it's easy to be enthusiastic about it. And if you are enthusiastic about what you're doing, then you will attract other people who say, oh, there's shiny, happy people there. What are they doing? I might want to join that. Yeah, and of course, continue to have great ideas and innovate. And that's what happened, like from day one with LibreOffice. You might remember that when you were around, what a liberating experience that was. And everyone was just, finally we're free to do what we always wanted to do. Like we're not held back by policies and rules and whatever. So people started to innovate on the code, and people started to innovate on the infrastructure, and people started to innovate on the tools, and people started to innovate on the project organization, which was rather rigid before. So let's not stop being enthusiastic, and let's not stop to innovate and to create new things, because that's kind of this virtuous circle. And if you do that, you will be attractive. We will be attractive for other people. So with that, the only thing that is left is to say thank you very much for all your work. Yeah, thank you very much for all your work, your time, your passion, your enthusiasm that you're putting into the project, since some of them since, I don't know, 12 years or longer before that. So, yeah, I bow before you. Thank you very much, and enjoy the conference.
Sorry about that. What's a good resolution? Fish tank. 1080p. It is 1080p. Any more joy? We can try a. Yeah. This is the power cable. It turns out. Plug that back in. Ah, fantastic. Okay. Let's try and get both screens to be the same size. It'll probably help everyone. This beautiful XFCE goodness. 1080p. Is that better? No? It is. Perfect. Thank you. Let me, ooh, crikey, be quiet. Yeah. Well, thank you for being here. Look at that, fantastic. So, I'll tell you a little bit about Collabora. I'll tell you a bit about what we're doing, and I will talk too fast. Sorry. But there's lots of slides to read if you get bored. You know, when blah, 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 blah. Just read something. So yes, our parent company is pretty cool. I'll tell you about that in a second. And yeah, we came out of SUSE 9 years ago. And we have a mission. Many companies write their mission statement after being in business for 20 years and doing things that no one understands why they do. And but we actually believe ours, and it's making open source rock. I'm encouraged to see that it spreads virally through to like-minded individuals. So that's cool. And that's the goal. What does that mean? That's the goal of our shareholders. That's what we want to do. That's what the company is for. And so it means when you give me a euro or a yen or a remdini or something, we take that money and that's what we do with it. We put it back into making open source rock. We're a pure play open source company. All our code is open. We do have to make money. Otherwise, we can't spend it on open source. Strange, but that's how it is. And we're not for sale, so that's quite important. So I'll talk a little bit about the parent company. So Collabora has taken a long-term strategic view of enabling open source use in lots of things. So if you look back 10 years, 20 years, you would see lots of proprietary real-time operating systems, the Wind Rivers and all these little RTOSes underneath things. And Collabora has played a huge role in replacing huge chunks of the industry with Linux, so that you can start at the bottom of your stack and go upwards, free software all the way, right? Like, that's the goal. Many of our clients build proprietary things on top. We try and avoid that. But so just silly stuff. Your power tools that you buy from Bosch have Linux in them. Isn't that amazing? And we're there helping to do all sorts of interesting control things. Your medical device, as you wake up from your post-conference hangover, you look out of your bed and the medical device going ping next to you is potentially running Linux, and this is great. And so we do all sorts of things: virtual reality, mobile devices, car things, big semiconductor companies. We work with all of these people to enable free software from the ground up, basically. Pretty much hardware drivers, graphics enablement, loads of things like that. We also have an AI practice, which I particularly like. You can watch the video perhaps later, but so this is standard H.264 sending a video of someone talking. And this is what happens if you send a picture of them, as in this is the guy, and then you do image extraction, feature extraction on their face, and see how they're talking, and then you send the features to the other end, and then you apply it on top of the image. And it turns out you get a 90% bandwidth reduction, and the quality is as good, if not better. And if you up-res this with another clever AI that adds detail and so on, you end up with an amazing picture of this person at the other end with 1/10 of the bandwidth, all open source. Of course, it's not a product, it's a demo, but do have a look at it. I think it's some pretty cool stuff out there. So just an example of our machine learning group out there. Oh, and I guess our media group, we do lots of media stuff too. Anyway, but you're probably more interested in the LibreOffice piece, which is my part, so half owned by me and half owned by Collabora, parent company. And we focus on, I guess, office productivity, open source stuff, primarily LibreOffice. And yes, so there we go. And we do all sorts of things. We make various products. I think you probably are familiar with them. So Collabora Online, you know, giving your digital sovereignty back to you, you know, trying to return ourselves to that Garden of Eden, you know, where we controlled our own technology and people weren't watching us all the time. And I like this tag, you know, your own private office in the cloud. You know, we'll sell you a chair you can put on a cloud and, you know, get some peace and look down on other people. Very important. And that, of course, is all built on LibreOffice technology, and, you know, you can get SLAs and so on. I'm not going to tell you about that. LibreOffice you'll be very familiar with. It's a branded version of LibreOffice based on that. And it's really the foundation for online. You know, like the vast majority of the code that we put in online is, of course, LibreOffice technology. And we love that. That's a very unifying way of describing all of it. We release annually, and then we maintain that for 3 years at least. This is not the tip of our spear, LibreOffice. I think if you're a trustee, you'll have seen why. You'll have seen our sales graph, and you'll have seen the impact of the marketing plan that was supposed to, you know, accelerate this. It's well-meaning, but ultimately, yeah, there's a reason that online is the tip of the spear. And of course, we do consultancy too. So we fix things and make things and sell that in flexible ways. And we partner with people. So one of the things we love to do is partner with people. And these are just a few of our partners. We have 230, something like that. I think it's more than that. And the goal here really is to try and make a way that an individual or a small person can project power and competence and strength into their market, that we can work together with these people to make your small business into a business that can do enterprise-level support. And that we can then share revenue on that. We can sell not just training and migration, but also a recurring revenue stream. So one of the problems with open source is it's quite easy to sell consultancy to some people. And you know, in small volumes after they've discovered they have a problem. But when you fix their problem, they don't have a problem anymore. And so making that a recurring revenue so that you can hire people and predict, you know, how you're going to pay them next year and next month is difficult. And consultancy has been likened to driving a car in fog. You know, you can make the car bigger, but, you know, pack more people into the bus, but you still don't seem very much further ahead. And it's kind of risky. So what we love to do is try and make recurring revenue so that you have a client base and you grow that base and you can, you know, you get that revenue from people and you provide value to them and you build a long-term relationship there. So yeah, and obviously it's free and open source. It's very easy to do things badly. Anyone can download a Docker image. Many do. We compete with OnlyOffice, and it's interesting that, you know, we talk to hosters, and they're like, yeah, we use the free version, and then we patch it and remove these files, and we grab their binary Docker image from ages ago, and we tweak this and tweak that so that we can, for free, provide something that, and we shard it into lots and lots of little things to try and avoid limits. And I mean, there's a lot of very cuteness going on out there that doesn't fill me with the competence feeling. But of course, it works for many users. Yeah, and it's cheap to do it badly, and lots of people do that, and it's a shame. So we try and build a brand that means that it's done well, and we try and encourage people to pay for stuff because otherwise we can't pay our staff. That's pretty much how it goes. So my job, I guess, in charge of this excellent team, is to try and feed them, you know, try and help them and enable them and give them the equipment and the tasks to do that you know, our customers want or will want. Of course, we do it in lots of languages all around the world. And if you want to be involved with that, come and grab me. There's all sorts of special prices for various different cases and so on. But enough commercial pluggery. Let me talk about features and LibreOffice and things. So Torsten mentioned how good the LibreOffice technology positioning is. I love Italo's cunning design of this. I think it's a fantastic way of explaining what we do and how we can do it together. And I'm just going to, say how pleased we are to contribute. You know, it's really good to be part of the LibreOffice development community and just show you some of the things you've done. A few examples. I can't summarize I don't know how many thousand commits that we did in the last year. This is a particularly annoying one. Who has seen this dialogue at the bottom? I mean, This is the "Are you still awake?" bit. Okay, a few people are. Yeah, that's good. Okay, well done for being awake. That's good. Possibly the most annoying one in the world. And we get customers, you know, oh dear. Anyway, this is a very popular bug. And also very difficult to fix. It's a really, really nasty. I mean, we could have fixed it very badly and wasted huge amounts of memory and brought your machine to its knees. But anyway, thankfully, a good thing came out of the crypto bubble. Market. There's this wonderful company, DevX DAO, that is doing decentralized blockchain, something, crypto, everything is good. And through Mohammed Kara's company, which is great, hopefully we'll remember Mohammed, they provided work that allowed us to do this, which is fantastic. And of course, to bring it online with some EC money as well. Artificial intelligence. People say to me, what's your artificial intelligence story? I don't know why they say that, but they feel we should have one. And probably we should. I mean, I don't know. Seems like it's a trendy thing. So here's one way we can bring AI to LibreOffice, and that's through grammar checking. So some parts of grammar checking are really not susceptible to AI. For example, checking your ISBN is got the correct checksum, like it is an actual ISBN. It's not very good for AI. Other parts of it, in terms of some of the more complicated sentence structure pieces are. Now, LibreOffice has had language tool support for a long time, but the language tool company makes a beautiful server product that sits in the cloud. And actually, it's a really encouraging example of an open source company building an open source product and doing well. And so I love it. And they're based in Germany, Language Tooler. Okay, go to Potsdam and see Daniel Naber and what he's doing. And I guess partly they ride on Grammarly's adverts. I constantly see Grammarly adverts. Maybe it's just me. But the not very good grammar checker with a very large amount of marketing turns out to be, you can sell it. And it's a little bit annoying to me who struggles. I mean, if you see the prices early, $18 a seat list price for Collabora Online, right? They're charging that a month or more for just the grammar checker, which is interesting. Anyway, so thanks to Adfinis for helping accelerate this, but we now have the web remote grammar checking API. I think Mert did that, and it will call out to the server and give your text to them. Of course, you can do that on premise because we're kind of privacy-focused company. You don't really want the grammar, all of the text you type to be sent over the internet to someone else, and so that's not on by default. Obviously, you can turn it on with their server, or you can run your own language tool server locally. But nice to have. Sparklines, another feature that our aggressive competition have been pointing out that we don't have. And so some great work there. Thanks for doing that. And of course, that's back to the EC have done some work under like a business accelerator grant scheme, which has been very, very helpful to do that. So and these are essentially just a little chart in a cell that shows you a trend. So yeah, I mean, like you could do the same by embedding a chart and turning off the axes and stuff, but anyway, we need to be interoperable, and it's not done like that. There's a very, very simple charting mode there. This came out of, I think the French government wanted this, so I think there's a DJ FIP organization, and I think they're having problems with their copy and paste. And it turns out that we haven't had the latest image support. We are many years out of date, and wouldn't it be good to have it? So anyway, merging that in, so now you can copy and paste between the browser and elsewhere, using WebP, and of course render lots of images in that way. Content controls, I think Torsten mentioned earlier, the work we've done there. Miklos has been making a whole load of these things work very nicely, which is kind of cool, particularly for governments who are riddled with forms. That's what government is about, isn't it? Collecting the same information again and again and again. I once went to a hack fest in the National Health Service, and there was a guy there, and he'd been to every doctor's surgery in just his county, and every hospital, and he collected the form that they used to, ingest you. And all of these forms asked the same questions, 50 questions, in a different order and a different layout was slightly different. It was quite encouraging. Anyway, look, can't have enough forms. But wouldn't it be nice if they were electronic and you could autofill them and do good things? Anyway, but this is really helping people make more forms easily. You'll be pleased to know. And but anyway, we're exporting them to PDF hopefully nicely now and making this work really nicely. And this is something that Word can't do, as I understand it. You need to use an Adobe thingy to do it. But hopefully that'll be a nice, unique feature for LibreOffice 7.5. Color theming, so another thing that's really irritating is the blue box problem in LibreOffice. You know, every time you click, you get a blue box, right, full of blue, and it's probably not what you wanted. And wouldn't it be nice if it fitted in with other things in the document? So we're slowly moving in the direction of making it less blue, which is probably good. Chart data table. So another big key interop feature. People have these charts. They put them in their slides. Microsoft has this feature of putting a little data table underneath the chart so you can see what's going on, and allowing you to edit that and so on. And Quickie has done some great work here to make that work in LibreOffice, which is useful. People complain when the chart, the data is missing. Yeah, and it's been like that for a long time. DeepL translation stuff also built in. So Mert, I hope his Mert is the master. But this is essentially a way to integrate a DeepL server. You have to have an API key, annoyingly. Who knows? But enterprises that have translation needs can put this inside their VPN and then translate to their heart's content built into Writer. So that's good. Well, why show contributions? Lots and lots of people have contributed many things, and that's good. And we are only one part of the community, obviously, and many people will be talking about the cool stuff they've done at this conference, and we're looking forward to hearing those talks. But we really want to encourage people to get support and services from companies that contribute back. Maybe not my company, but just any company that contributes back. That's really key. So please, when you buy a product or a service, ask, what have you contributed back upstream? How's that worked? Who have you worked with that contributes back? And it's useful. It's useful to remember that all of those things are paid for by customers. There's no free ride here. So I'd like to talk a little bit about the Document Foundation. I have a few thoughts and trends and asks, and I hear things around the place. So I just want to say this. It shouldn't need saying, but I will say it anyway. Collabora loves LibreOffice, right? I hear that people are trying to destroy TDF. I don't know who they are, but it's not us. We help TDF in many ways, and you can see later. We're arguably the largest co-contributor, and we review and we mentor and we encourage people to join LibreOffice, and we help them do it every day. And we help users too. There are other variants of they contribute too much, which is a good criticism. I like to hear this criticism. This is good. I feel very relaxed about that. But then, of course, people worry that they might stop contributing too much, and then, well, that would be bad. But again, there are no plans to stop contributing too much, right? Please don't drive us away, but at least, we don't want to do that. I hear, amazingly, that Collabora doesn't want in-house developers at TDF. Well, that's not true either, and we do. We just want them to be peers in the community. We want them to be tasked by the board, as normal, managed by the ED and the team, as normal, and helping to grow the community, as real members of our community and not, stuck off. And hopefully we can hire these people soon. So, I would just encourage you to be aware of polarizing narratives. If you hear something that seems very strange and doesn't fit with what's happening, please do, challenge that or come and ask, is it really true? That this is happening and so on. And I think, even after we disagree on details, I think Torsten captured this really well. We have a large overlapping goal of making TDF succeed, and I read these slides last night, so, there's obviously some groupthink going on somewhere. Another thing that I hear is that, TDF has to do this. It's really vital, and TDF absolutely must do this. And it's unfortunately, English doesn't have a good way of saying, this is mandatory versus I passionately feel that you should do this. And so it's completely fair to say, for me, it's vital that TDF does that, right? But please don't dress this up in some legal language saying it is legally mandatory that TDF does this. TDF has very, very wide freedom. It does not have to pursue all its goals simultaneously or to the same extent. And here's a good example of something that we do relatively little of. Actually, we leave it to the ecosystem. This training of governments and private organizations about the use of the software through seminars and workshops and so on is notionally a goal of TDF. Arguably, it's something that we could fund and resource and advertise using our brand and push out there. But it turns out that one of the ways we really succeed, and Latha's done a great job building, certifying these people, is building an ecosystem of trainers around the project that do a fantastic job. They do this already. Why would TDF want to come and duplicate something that works well and provides, great input to the community and people around the project that do good things? I mean, that to me would be nonsensical, right? So it may be an explicit, written, black and white goal of the foundation, but it's something that we can choose to not pursue to the same extent as some other things that we do as a board. I'm not on the board, luckily, so someone else can wrestle with that problem. Similarly, introducing the software to children and adolescents. I mean, Laszlo's done some fantastic work on Libra Logo, and there are all sorts of things in schools, right? But none of that, as I can see, has been done by TDF per se. I think Libra Italia have done some good things. And maybe that's something we should look at more of. But again, it's not something that TDF itself is choosing to do. It's happy to let, the whole wider community do these things. So I think that's really good. And I think it's worth, so my plea there really is just be careful how you express what you want to say and not make it a polarizing black and white. It has to be this versus it has to be that. We have space, I think. Right, so here is how TDF, I think, works. I don't know if that's how it really works, but it's supposed to be there. One of the things I'd like to say is that I think, as our manifesto says, we encourage corporate participation by sponsoring individuals to work as equals alongside other contributors in the community. We have a bit of a problem at the moment of trying to other or divide or exclude or say these people are not part of our community, they are bad and other and different and they have different goals and I think the reality is that everyone has different goals. There are many different goals that people have. In as much as they overlap with TDF's goals and its mission, we should work with them. And even if they don't overlap with TDF's goals, but they're good for things that are TDF's goals, then we should work with them. And I'm pretty distressed to see people being excluded who have vast experience and goodwill and love for the project from many, many places where it would be better to include them. There would be better decision making and better results, it seems to me. So I think there are concerns, some serious concerns about that. And that really comes down to balancing interests. There's a lot of talk about interests. So here are a few ideas, and maybe you can think about this. So here's one idea. Perhaps everything should serve TDF's goals that we do here, right? Like the community serves TDF, and they should be directed by TDF, right? Top down. That's one vision, okay? These are extreme ones. I called them straw men on my slide before, right? But people don't know what straw men are. They're like an unrealistic caricature of an extreme. So that's an extreme view. Here's another extreme view. TDF serves the community, right? Its goal is to do only what the community wants it to do. And, like its direction should just be an average of what everybody wants to do in LibreOffice, right? Well, I think that's also not really the case, right? So like TDF has a mission, and it should serve its mission, obviously. So it has an independent goal, and we've written it down, right? Like you can look at it. But it has also wide flexibility in how it meets that goal, right? So it seems to me that wisely collaborating with other people who have very different goals it is kind of obviously the right thing to do, right? And all participants had interest. I mean, it's a great tragedy to me that Oracle and Sun left the project. I mean, I think that's one of the worst things that we've screwed up early in the project, was somehow not winning them over. I mean, it was a difficult ask, but possibly, were we to do it again? Well, I don't know. Anyway, but but say AMD. AMD did a huge amount of work for TDF, with TDF and through Collabora, and just improved the software hugely. But only for a time, right? And it's ludicrous to think that AMD's goals are going to match TDF's goals. That's a nonsense, isn't it, right? I mean, it's a gigantic, multi-billion company. But if we can find areas of cooperation and collaboration where we can leverage the huge resources that others have, then, well, why wouldn't we do that? And I'm encouraged. I mean, back in the day, there were some compromises there that were needed to do that, and TDF did those, made those, and got a great result. Another thing I'm thinking about is transparency. So I think in the last board there was some really big improvements in transparency. I think Lothar helped lead those. And a lot of the board's business was brought out, as it were, into the open. And that's probably a good thing. Like, I mean, you know, like we have commitments to do this and so on in our statutes, but the balance there of what should be open and shouldn't be is again, not obvious. It's not like, you know, all this or all that. It's some and some. And that required lots of background. If everybody is now going to be involved in this discussion, there are a lot of things that people need to know, right? And that makes Italo's life very hard because, well, and Mike's life, because, you know, in publicly, our public marketing is a picture of happiness and unity and fun and beauty and, you know, just this very lovely coherent thing that is LibreOffice. But actually under the hood, as Bismarck says, you know, and he was a pretty successful politician, I believe. You know, laws are like sausages. It's better not to see them being made, right? And so I don't think it's really a surprise that we see conflict or, you know, discussion, heated discussion that's spreading outside the board that previously was perhaps more isolated to the board. So yeah, I mean, this, which is a shame. And possibly we get that balance wrong sometimes. It seems to me that, yeah, like, there's so much information there, there's so much to be said. You can have very long mail threads with, you know, lots of confusing stuff in it, and I don't know what value it adds and what leadership, you know, should do there. But anyway, the board is at least more transparent, which is probably a good thing. One of the things is that our executive is not really transparent, and I think that's probably reasonable in the past. Like, so with the board fighting each other in private, wouldn't it be nice to insulate our staff from the consequences of that and seeing it going on? And wouldn't it be good to avoid micromanagement so Florian can get on with his job and do it without interference, you know, and so on. But I think in today's board, you know, we have an anachronism there that the staff have private and closed discussions regularly. The board are not allowed to attend. And yeah, what's said is not minuted and doesn't escape that group. I've been in a few of the open ones of those where interesting things are said that are not like controversial, but just useful and technical discussion that I think should happen in the open. And then there's the private staff list, which is possibly, you know, one of the most closed lists we have at TDF that has no board presence and oversight. And that seems to me unhelpful in terms of getting the staff and the board to work together smoothly and seamlessly. So, not my decision, but I'd encourage you to think of that. And I think this is my last slide of sort of interesting things. Meritocracy, I hear often, meritocracy is the membership criteria, right? You know, it's fulfilled by ensuring that to be a member you have to have done something, you know, and contributed meaningfully. But every non-profit has some kind of membership criteria. To me, that doesn't seem to fulfill the goal of listening to people in a way that reflects the value and the experience and what they bring to the project. And I see people with vast experience in some areas being ignored or told they don't know what they're talking about. And it just seems to me that this is something that, at least as developers, we take it comes quite easily. Like, it's fair enough to have some newbie arrive with a patch. That's brilliant, and we encourage that. But if they start arguing with someone who is extremely experienced in that area and has written the code and maintained it and gets all of the problems, that does just seem very silly. I mean, like, you know, it's a great way to look silly if you want to do that. And I think we need to retain and regain perhaps that understanding that it's basic common sense to weigh heavily, not take for gospel. Obviously, you can be experienced and wrong, but to weigh heavily, you know, the advice and input of those who actually know a lot about one area. And I think the ESC perhaps does this quite well, and it's one of the most peaceful places. And I think it's focused on just doing it, and perhaps realizes that people don't have to be there. I mean, like, the ESC is really not a command and control thing. It's like a grouping of people who meet to try and discuss, you know, how we can work together to resolve any conflicts, to say what we're doing, but not to tell people what to do, per se. We try and gently embarrass people who have regressions into fixing them, but, you know, yeah, be useful and fun. So that's my TDF things. Let me talk just a little bit about Collabora Online and some of the last year's improvements. So one of the things was that we spent quite a lot of time trying to get the LibreOffice technology branding into Collabora Online, into Nextcloud Office, which arrived in the last year, and into our partners' Office suites too. I'm thrilled to see Nextcloud Office on the TDF infrastructure, but for a long time we didn't have the right logo in there. So it's really annoying, because Guilherme has a brilliant cross-site scripting avoidance something, and so it wouldn't download it from our server. But now it does it remotely, and all is well. So we have the right branding there. And it's really important to us that when you click on that, you find out about LibreOffice, and you learn about LibreOffice technology. We keep this. We don't put it in our software. We put it on our website so it can be taken down immediately, because we're, and my hope is that the legal team will sort out the trademark situation in a beautiful way soon. Everything will be clear and crisp, and they'll stick with that for a while. But either way, we try and credit people, and we even have pictures. You may find yourself there. So hopefully, when your smiling faces are showing up on the team photo later, will show up, because we want to be talking about LibreOffice. We want to be saying how good it is to be involved with LibreOffice, obviously. And hey, there's a whole load of features we've done. So there's JavaScript sidebar, we've improved things, precise anchoring, better user experience on mobile, accessibility checkers, coming to online, various dialogues and properties, improved performance in various ways, bandwidth reduction, so now Collabora Online streams tiles and deltas to them, so it's a bit like, I guess, a keyframe, and then changes to it, which can save lots of bandwidth, and CPU time. More CPU time savings coming. I'm trying to get my patch fixed. Loads of polish on the user experience. So it's hard to understate how important user experience is, and I'm sure Heiko will tell us this later. But it's easy to think, that feature is what's important. But actually having a polished UI has an amazingly pleasant effect, And I think as we think about improving LibreOffice as a product, I think user experience is one thing where we could significantly invest. I think we have a gap there that we could happily fill in a totally non-controversial way, and make it a product that people not only fills a gap, not only does lots of things in a powerful way, but just feels sexy, to use a random sexualized word. Lots of commits then, stress testing, Prometheus metric, lots of things, more than I can possibly put on a slide. A whole load of non-collaborants helping there in the last year, and thank you to everyone who's on that list. We have if you're interested in coming to Berlin after this LibreOffice conference, we're going to be doing some fun stuff there, alongside the Nextcloud conference this year. So 9 years, what have we done? Well, we're still contributing significantly to LibreOffice. Actually, a smaller proportion of the commits, and let me tell you, commits are not everything. There are people as well, and people are probably, Torsten's got the right focus. People are key, but it's obviously nice if they get lots of commits too. But so this is a smaller proportion. Collabora is shrinking as a proportion there, and I have this always on the side of my slides every year. We need to improve our ecosystem diversity-wise, and let's make sure that people can build successful businesses around it, and that's really the best way to do it. And we serve in lots of ways. This is well, I mean, I don't know. You may not think that 2 board members is easy to dedicate, but some of these people come out of those meetings totally demotivated. It's not just the meeting time of an hour; it's like the day to recover, and try and get back into some sensible state. And of course, mentoring and summer of code and all of these things. We do lots of things to help TDF and tell people about LibreOffice. And of course, it's all done by the team. And those people in black, somehow they get to the top of the list, commit list, and also manage a team. I mean, that's pretty impressive. I'm well impressed anyway. It's not easy. It seems easy to hire lots of developers and then all your problems are fixed, but actually you have to manage and motivate and task and inspire and help and encourage them to do good things as well. And that's not easy. And so we're hiring. So if you want to join the team, talk to me. Work from anywhere role to do any of these things. We'd love to have you on board. And here's a picture of some of us. I'm nearly there, I think. Oh, I in fact was there. Cool. So in conclusion, Collabora loves LibreOffice. I think that's a key message that we have. And we see LibreOffice and making it better as actually an application of our mission, which is to make free and open source software rock. We want to liberate people's documents. Our goals are not the same as TDF's, but they overlap hugely. It's all paid for by our customers and our partners, and we can't do anything without a customer or partner or someone to pay the bill. And you may look at Collabora and think, oh, what fun, they can do anything they like. We get to do exactly what our customers tell us to do and our partners. That's it. And alongside our staff, branding is really one of our only assets. So we really appreciate you telling people about Collabora. It's a pleasure to be able to sponsor the conference. Thank you so much for being here. And come and talk to me later or my team. It would be fantastic. Thank you.
Here's an idea. We have the group photo planned for tomorrow. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But maybe the weather will be terrible tomorrow, so we could make a photo here now as well. Yeah? If people come together a bit, if they want to.
That person needs a t-shirt.
Outside.
No, here. Yeah, but the weather may be terrible tomorrow. We may not have many opportunities for photos, so.
We can do it, and we can do it tomorrow as well, and then taking the
That's what I think, yeah. So let's get a photo here. Yeah, come together. We'll try.